Hey, welcome to your Aries horoscopes for the last full week of March, actually, the 24th through the 30th. It's the first week of Aries season. One thing that I did forget in the horoscopes last week was to celebrate the beginning of Aries season, which I'm sure you all know by now, did actually start last week on the equinox, and we're full on into party mode. And yet this week, we're moving into the shadow period of our first full Mercury retrograde of the year, which is going to be a full Aries Mercury retrograde. So there is a couple of things with that. Fire Mercury retrogrades tends to up the aggressiveness of communication, specifically around situations that just are not changing. Decisions aren't being made in one direction or the other. And in many ways, the universe kind of uses those particular situations to amp up the heat a little bit, forcing us to make a decision. And I don't think I've ever met an Aries that likes to be forced into anything. So it does get pretty aggressive, especially as you try and fight against changes that you just have no control over. We do have, because it's Aries season, obviously the sun has moved into Aries and Mercury is on the verge of moving out of Aries, but of course we'll go retrograde next week and stop that from happening. And we'll continue to be in Aries. And as we move right at the beginning of the week, we're not quite starting off the week like this, but right at the beginning of the week on Monday, Mercury does move into a square with Pluto. And that's something that's going to continue for a couple of weeks. And it is a challenge because Mercury's focus is very much on your support system, and not just any kind of support, but intellectual support. We're talking about finally finding those people who know what they're doing and can help us with these specific problems. The issue is as it moves into this challenge with Pluto, which is all about change and transformation, which is good. It's kind of what we want. Pluto's focus is right on the cusp of what is our financial relationship with ourselves. I do tend to interpret this because in some ways, it's a lot like you finally found this person to help you and you just can't afford them. So they're still out of reach. And I feel like in many cases and in many ways for most of us, behind that is really a sense of fear in change and moving forward. So it's like we want something so bad, we're willing to do anything to get this thing. And when it's right in front of us, we come up with reasons why we can't make that change right now. Maybe it'd be better if we wait. So it really kind of doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, most of the things that humans do don't really make any sense. They're all these little things that we do to kind of get in our own way and keep ourselves from being successful. And we do tend to blame it on everybody else. But the point is that almost all the time, I'd say at least 85% of the time, we are the ones getting in our own way. So the moon moves around this week in various different places and kind of plays into this in some ways, also creating extra challenges for you to deal with. On Monday and Tuesday, I'm sorry, Sunday and Monday, we're kicking off the week, the first 2 days with the sun in opposition with the moon. The moon's focus is very much on home at this particular time. So the sun is really focused on career. So it's again creating kind of that challenge where you feel like you're being pulled in both directions. I know a few Aries ladies actually out there that have young children and they're career women at the same time. And it is really hard to balance those two things and feel like you're being successful in both. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not whether you can or you can't. It's that feeling of whether or not you're actually doing it right. You kind of beat yourself up feeling like you're letting everybody down. It just, it just feels crappy. The moon moves into opposition with Mercury on Tuesday, which is also in Aries, but focused on your support system. So now we're also kind of looking at a little bit of a challenge where it's not so much. I mean, yes, we're being pulled in two different directions, but the people that are supposed to be there to help us so we don't get overwhelmed are not stepping up either. Two things with that. One, nobody else on the zodiac. I mean, yes, energy wise, there are quite a few signs that can match your energy, but it really doesn't feel like anybody can really keep up with what you can do. And when you get overwhelmed, sometimes we emotionally kind of go overboard with how we project that emotion. So I kind of interpret that to be one of those instances where when you're about to blow because things just aren't being taken care of, you have to take a step back. You have to look at it objectively. Are they actually attempting to do something? Are they really trying? Or are they just standing in front of me making up excuses and not doing anything, which is highly possible. And then from there, you kind of gear your reaction towards the situation that you're dealing with. it, One of the things that I've learned the hard way, I might add, is I'm a very direct and abrupt, and it is what it is, black and white kind of person. This is how I deal with every situation, and I approach every person with every problem in the same way. And over and over and over again, what I get is blank stares, people thinking I'm mean or I'm too aggressive. I'm sure you heard that one a few times, or I'm too aggressive, or it's just all about me and I want to control the world, and I'm just a narcissist wanting to control everybody around me. And I'm none of those things. I'm just this is a problem. We need to solve it. Let's get it done and stop whining and complaining about it. And that's, while I'm not an Aries, that is an Aries mentality. And it's really frustrating when everybody else around you doesn't seem to get that or realize that they need to do something about it. As we move into Wednesday, this challenge gets a little bit bigger as it becomes a T square and the moon moves into a square with Pluto. So now we're bringing money problems back into this challenge again. So sort of like a roller coaster. We start off with this panic over money and then we're fine. And then the panic over money comes up again. And because Pluto is focused on your relationship with your money, it is not about whether you have the money, don't have the money, or getting the money, not getting the money, where the money's coming from, or any of that. It's your relationship with money. Are you only happy when you have money in the bank? Do you get depressed or frustrated or sad when you don't have money in the bank? Are you still using the same mindset that you have to get money in a specific way and haven't broadened your horizons on how you can make money in other ways? And I'm not saying illegally, by the way, just so you guys know. The point is, we get stuck in a mindset about money. And when that doesn't change, our money goals can't change either. So utilize this time and these challenges to kind of open up and think about where this might actually be a problem or a thing for you, if that makes sense. So that's what I have for you guys this week. A lot going on. It's been really, really, really quiet. And then boom, everything is happening in Aries. And it's not really everything, but it is your time. And while, yes, when your time comes up, it's time for you to enjoy that time. It also means it's your time to pay attention to what's going on around you, because everything that's going on around you is giving you a sign of where you need to go from here. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my coffee link in the description. Would really appreciate that very much. You guys are awesome. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic, and I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, I know you guys are going to make it a great week no matter what. So do that, and I will see you next week.